Hey guys, today I'm going to be telling you an interesting African story. So sit back and enjoy. But before I start, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, turn on your post notification, and share this video with your friends and family. In the village of Awandi, there lived a woman named Neka who wanted a child for many years. She was kind, but sadness followed her. She had tried to have a baby many times, but each time ended in heartbreak. Now nearly past her childbearing age, the pressure on her marriage grew. Her husband loved her, but his family wanted him to take a second wife for children. Nneka worried she would lose everything. Desperate for help, she visited a native doctor named Emeka. He lived deep in the forest and was known for his remedies. After hearing her story, he told her about the Umuaku forest, meaning children of wealth. In the forest, there was a magical oracle tree that could grant wishes, but it came with a price. "Can you take me there?" Neka asked. "I will guide you," Emeka replied, "but I cannot enter the forest. Only women can go inside. The ancestors will lead you to the tree, but remember, asking for something comes with a cost." Nneka agreed. They traveled to the edge of Muaku forest where Emeka stopped. "This is where I leave you. May the ancestors guide you." Nneka, desperate and saddened by years without a child, traveled deep into the forest to visit the great oracle tree. When she arrived, she knelt and spoke her heart's sorrow. "Please, great oracle," she pled. "I am a sad woman. I have been unable to bear a child for many years. My marriage is under threat. I beg you, grant me a child." The oracle tree, with its deep, wild voice, responded, "My daughter, wipe your tears. Your wish will be granted, but there is a price. Are you willing to pay for it?" Without hesitation, Nneka replied, "Yes, I am willing to do anything." The oracle continued, "From this day on, you must stay away from palm oil. You are forbidden to eat any food cooked with palm oil. If you do, there will be consequences." Desperate to have her wish granted, Nneka didn't ask what would happen if she broke this rule. She was only focused on the promise of a child. She nodded and said, "Yes, I will keep my promise." The oracle tree said, "Go ahead, my daughter. Your wish has been granted. As you leave to your right, you will find a pot. Inside the pot is a seed. Take the seed and eat it. And remember, on your way out of the forest, do not speak to anyone until you return to your home." Following the oracle's instructions, Nneka found the pot, took the seed, and ate it. She walked home in a silence, speaking to no one on her journey. A few months after, Nneka became pregnant and gave birth to a beautiful girl called Ifoma. Nneka felt happy and grateful to finally have a child. She kept her promise to the oracle tree and stayed away from palm oil, always cooking with groundnut oil instead. One day, as she was about to cook, she realized she had run out of groundnut oil and a few other ingredients. So she went to the market to restock. At her favorite seller's stall, she asked for her usual groundnut oil, but the seller shook her head. "Ah, I don't have groundnut oil today, but I have something even better," the seller said, holding up a new bottle of oil. "This oil is very healthy, and people say it's just as good as groundnut oil." Nneka was careful and asked, "Are you sure this isn't palm oil?" The seller assured her, "Oh no, it's a new kind of oil. They've refined it and it's perfect for cooking. Trust me, you won't taste the difference." Feeling relieved, Nneka decided to buy it. When she got home, she used the new oil to prepare the meal. She didn't know though that this new oil was actually refined form of palm oil. As she ate it, she noticed a slightly rich flavor but didn't think much of it, believing it was just the new oil. That night, strange things began to happen in her home. Unknowingly, Nneka had broken her promise and now mysterious events were about to unfold. After Nneka unknowingly broke her promise to the oracle tree by eating the refined palm oil, strange and troubling things began to happen. First, Ifeoma, the beautiful baby girl who had always been full of life, suddenly became deaf and dumb. She could no longer hear or speak. Her parents were horrified. One moment their daughter was healthy and happy, and the next she was completely silent and unresponsive. Nneka and her husband tried everything they could think of. They took Ifeoma to the hospital, visited many doctors, and sought help from anyone who had had a solution, but nothing worked. The more they searched for answers, the more desperate and confused they became. Then, one more strange thing started happening at home. Every time they looked into the mirror, they saw Ifeoma's reflection. But it wasn't the reflection of their beautiful daughter anymore. It was the image of a very old, scary woman sitting in the same spot as Ifeoma. When they looked away from the mirror, Ifeoma would be back to her normal, beautiful self. It was as if some dark force was controlling the reflection. The father, worried and afraid, could no longer hide the mystery. One day he confided in a friend, telling him about the strange happenings in their home. His friend, a trusted man, took him to see a powerful native doctor named Alulu. Alulu, the great Dibia, welcomed them into his shrine. "What can I do for you, my sons?" the native doctor asked. The father of Ifeoma, still shaken, replied, "Great one, I have been going through a lot. Strange things are happening in my house. My daughter suddenly became deaf and dumb. I have tried every way to find a solution, but nothing works. Please help us." Alulu nodded and began chanting incantations. His voice filled the air with powerful rhythmic words. Molo, molo, kolo. Molo, molo, kolo. Molo, molo, kolo. After the chanting, Alulu stopped and spoke in a deep voice. "Ah, I see. You are welcomed here, my friends. Let me tell you what I have seen." He asked Ifeoma's father to drop some money on the floor, a gesture of respect to the oracle, so that he could dive deeper into the spiritual world to understand the cause of their suffering. The father, though heartbroken, dropped the money, hoping for answers. Alulu closed his eyes, his mind moving into the spirit realm, and after a long pause, he spoke again. "I see Nneka, your wife," Alulu said, his voice solemn. "The cause of your trouble is your wife, Nneka. Go to her and tell her to confess. All this is happening to Ifeoma because of her. Only then will you find peace." The words hit Nneka's husband like a thunder. He was devastated by the truth, but he knew that only by confronting Nneka and getting her to confess could they hope to stop the suffering and restore balance to their family. After Nneka's husband left the native doctor Alulu, he was troubled by the revelation. Alulu had told him that Nneka, his wife, was the source of his strange things happening in their home, As he made his way back, he noticed a crowd gathering outside his compound. Confused and anxious, he quickened his pace. When he arrived, he saw Nneka in tears surrounded by neighbors. On the floor in front of her was a pool of palm oil, smearing and spreading out like a small river. The neighbors whispered among themselves, casting concerned glances his way. "What's going on here?" he asked, looking from Nneka to the crowd. Nneka cried harder. "Our daughter Ifeoma, she has turned into palm oil," she sobbed. Shocked, he knelt beside her and asked, "How could this happen? What have you done?" Through her tears, Nneka began to confess. She told him about her visit to the oracle tree, her desperate plea for a child, and the promise she had made to avoid palm oil. She explained how unknowingly she had broken the oracle's warning when she mistakenly used refined palm oil in her cooking. As Nneka finished her story, the crowd fell silent. Her husband took a deep breath, placing his hand on her shoulder. "Nneka, the truth has been revealed. We must accept what has happened." In the months that followed, they grieved for Ifeoma. But soon, Nneka found herself pregnant again. This time, she gave birth to 3 healthy children, 2 girls and a boy. The family and neighbors celebrated. Grateful for this new beginning, they had learned a hard lesson. But now, they were filled with hope, cherishing the gift life had given them. The story taught the family and the community a powerful lesson. Patience and faith are essential, for in life everything comes in its own time. They realized that sometimes hardship leads to greater blessings and that in the end, God's timing is always best.